How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is TheStarkz, and welcome to a brand new Death Stranding video. Today, we're going to be talking about the newly released 49 minutes gameplay, in which was shown at the Tokyo Games Show 2019 by the one and only Hideo Kojima himself. Now, he was displaying his prize jewel, that being, of course, his new game, Death Stranding, PlayStation exclusive game. And yeah, so today we're going to be discussing the gameplay. Now, this is something I'm going to try and do a little bit more of, that being pre-launch gameplay thoughts. I didn't do one for The Last of Us necessarily, but if they show new gameplay in the upcoming weeks, I definitely will do one for The Last of Us. But let's dive a little bit into Death Stranding, shall we? So, first off, I want to say that I'm left very disappointed. Now this is a trend on this channel. Like, Cyberpunk was the same way. I was very disappointed with that. And these are very early initial thoughts of the game. They're not finalized thoughts. I haven't played the game. I would like to play the game. I have it pre-ordered, but I'm still contemplating whether I actually want to get the game, because it just doesn't appeal to me in the level in which it does for some others. Like, this is obviously some form of adaptation of a role-playing science fiction game, and it's a cool genre, but it's not a genre that I necessarily enjoy, because it's very endless in what you can do, right? I prefer like things that are a little bit more clear, in terms of that being, of course, maybe post-apocalyptic, something similar to Grand Theft Auto 5, where you're just in a realistic world. But with Death Stranding, there's a lot of elements to it that is non-fiction. That is fictional, but it's science fiction as well. So a lot of it might be tackling with a lot of realistic things. Like, I saw a couple of stuff in there in the gameplay that was like, oh, okay, this seems as though this might be like factual, or something that would be present in some form of science fiction genre. Now, one thing I saw that was really cool, and I don't know what part of the gameplay I found it in, but I'll try and have it up on screen, but there was a point in the game in which it looked like PSN was synced. Now, there's this motto of being together or coming together, right, that Death Stranding seems to have. So I wonder if they're going to do something similar to what I think Dark Souls does. Now, don't quote me, because I haven't played Dark Souls, but what they do is, like, you can help future players by leaving certain clues and hints, and it seems like Death Stranding might be tackling that same aspect. I don't know if Dark Souls does this, but it seems as though Death Stranding might be doing this, where there's this connection between what you do and other players do, almost like No Man's Sky as well, which is cool, because at some point there was like GG underscore or something, like, and those came up several times. I was like, wait, those are PlayStation icons, PlayStation picture profile photos. So I wonder if that's something we're going to see present in the game, this kind of connectivity that we can have with other players and share different resources and information, which is very, very interesting. That's actually something that I took out of the gameplay very, very solidly, that I really enjoyed. There's an element, like I said, that is role-playing, that is almost like a simulation of just walking and being human, which is cool, but it's like that tends to get very boring and dull for me, unfortunately. While I do like science fiction genres, not as much as others, but I do like science fiction genres, I don't want to be walking and just say, let me take a nap. Like, that just, it doesn't appeal to me, that kind of aspect. Walking up ladders to see another landscape to get somewhere. Now, we were with Sam, obviously, which is played by Norman Reedus, and his objective, from my understanding from the beginning, as well as this briefing trailer that we received as well, is that Sam has to reconnect. He has to join bridges again to reconnect the United Cities of America, not United States of America. I don't know what that suggests, but from my understanding, that probably means that the United States is still very broken, and the main objective is to unite cities so that we can form this reconnectivity with all of the states, to bond together, to form and to prolong humanity one more time. So, and that aspect really appeals to me. I really like that kind of that twist between nonfiction and fiction, because if we look at reality here, not to talk politics, despite being in favor of politics discussions, it's like we see things like climate change, for instance, and that is a huge thing that's among us, and so I wonder if this game is going to have some kind of political dialogue to it of joining together to fight this false ideology of climate change is not, of people saying climate change is not real. So essentially what I'm trying to say is, like, it would be cool to see Hideo Kojima kind of nods or add nods and references to these kind of politics in his game, because I know a lot of people tend to say, especially with movies as well, that these are work of arts that is the perfect political tool. I heard that for movies, but games are similar, and it would be really cool to see, hopefully, Hideo Kojima add some kind of political theme to it, because it seems like that's going to be the case. Now, in terms of gameplay, however, let's talk gameplay, okay? Combat seemed cool. There was a moment where Sam kind of like used like this rope to kill an enemy, and he did it incredibly fast, almost like Days Gone. And that looked very fake. It just like, okay, nobody dies that quickly. So I think hopefully by November they smoothen that out a bit and make it a little bit more realistic. Will they? Probably not, because Sony Bend, or Bend Studio, I think is their new name, didn't do that. So I doubt Hideo Kojima's company is going to do that. However, that doesn't take away from the narrative and the story. The story looks very, very intriguing. There's just this theme to it that keeps coming back to me, and I was like, I really want to experience this game, but it's like the gameplay of just walking around, finding objectives, and using this communication key to unlock a key to a city or some nonsense. I'm like, okay, that sounds a little too much, right? And then in terms of the user interface is another thing I have a worry for, and like the little inventory spaces that we saw. It's like, one, science fiction is a very complicated genre, and not to suggest that you can only do it right or wrong, but it's a very, very complicated genre to tackle. And if you're gonna do that, I think having very clean like user interfaces and inventory spaces, like what Naughty Dog does for a lot of their games. I know I always reference Naughty Dog, but they're my favorite company. Is something that Hideo Kojima needs to stem off of. And will this be changed for the finalized version of the game? No way, because this is definitely looks like this is going to be the like, there's probably just some polish stuff that's going to happen, some more marketing stuff, and then the game shipped, unfortunately, because I really think tackling the nice user interface, the clean user interface, as well as the inventory spaces, and I'll have screenshots for you as well up on screen. Probably. It's something that I hope that I don't really like when it comes to video games. Like, I know Ubisoft does this a lot, where it's like their user interface is just a mess, and then there's like flashing lights everywhere. I know Naughty Dog did this for Uncharted 4, where they had like enemy flashing lights. They kind of their body lights up if they notice you or not. And there was but those were very subtle, unlike Ubisoft, where it's like very extreme, and it's like, okay, this just doesn't, like, the realism is not resonating with me. You're attempting to make a realistic game with Watch Dogs, but then everything's lighting up. It's like, no, this is not realistic. This is not as realistic as you're trying to make it seem. And unfortunately, the Death Stranding gameplay just in terms of what I saw, it just wasn't. It didn't excite me as much as it might have excited other individuals, unfortunately. But this is subject to change, obviously. This is my pre-launch gameplay thoughts. Of course, let me know your comments in the comment section below. I want to hear your opinions, your thoughts, your comments, your critique of my critique, and I'll do vice versa, or I'll do the same to you. Of course, I have been TheStarkz. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.